repercussions of this meeting with President Obama?
I think what you're going to see as media is a highfalutin declaration of strategy. But here's the problem. The problem is President Obama cannot deliver on that strategy. He's 8 months away from retirement. He cannot get things through Congress. They will not cooperate with him, nor can he do things through executive action. The Supreme Court's been very clear on that. So for Justin Trudeau to wave a piece of paper in his hand and say to the Canadian population, I have a strategy that will be implemented with the United States is pure fiction. But that's the fiction he's going to try to peddle, mark my words, this week.
But it sort of poses the question then, so for the next year, nobody should be talking to an American president?
I think we should be clear that there is power that resides in Washington. A lot of the power right now is with Congress. So you can have all these discussions with President Obama. He's a nice man, don't get me wrong. But if you want to get something done, you've got to also have the U.S. Congress involved. And that's not the strategy that Justin Trudeau is pursuing, very clearly.
Who would be the best friend to Canada?
I don't really care who the nominees are. That's up for the Americans to decide. But what we have to do is make sure that our interests as Canadians are defended and advanced. And right now there's a lot of turmoil in the American political scene with the nomination process being pursued in both the Republican and Democratic parties. So we are, let's be honest, not a lot is going to be decided until the nominees are selected and until the election takes place on the presidential level. But there's a whole other matter of the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives. And I think we should be emphasizing that in our bilateral relations more than the champagne swiffing and the state dinners. I mean, that looks good on television, I guess. But in terms of real practical results for Canadians, that's just the overlay. That's just the sizzle. The steak for the next 8 months, quite frankly, is with the U.S. Congress.
But when you look at most of the major steps forward that your government also piggybacked on, and that is the Environmental Protection Agency, that's regulatory powers. The president still has those powers.
He has some powers, but they have also been, there's been some pushback by the U.S. Supreme Court, so let's not say that he has untrammeled authority in these areas. And Congress also has a right to have an opinion on these in the long run. So, yeah, EPA does matter. There is some executive authority, but ultimately, Congress is going to have its say as well. And look, the president has a lot of power of persuasion with Congress, but it's going to be the next president that will have that power of persuasion, not the president that has 8 months to go. That's the reality of the situation.
During his interview today with Huffington Post, Trudeau was sort of taking a few veiled shots at Donald Trump. Would that be helpful for Canada?
I think he should just stay out of it. Just stay out of the U.S. presidential. Nobody knows what's going to happen. 65% of Republicans haven't voted yet in their primaries yet. Stay out of it. Why do we have to be involved in that? This is an American electoral process. How offended would we be if U.S. politicians started to say who Canadians should be voting for in a Canadian general election? Just stay out of it. And if you aren't staying out of it, you're not helping Canada. And that's what Trudeau is doing right now. It's not helping Canada.
What consequences if he is perceived to be getting involved?
Look, he's not going to make any friends. Even it doesn't matter whether it's Mr. Trump or Mr. Rubio or Hillary Clinton. The moment you get involved in something like that, you're showing a disrespect to the American political system. Just stay out of it is my advice to him. But he will not take my advice.